Bro, I'm not going to lie to you, right? See this whole Conor McGregor Khabib business, this isn't going to end until there's literal red liquid spilled. I have to be careful what I say here in the first couple of seconds, 2 minutes of a YouTube video. I've just read an article on Conor McGregor and his thoughts on Khabib's cousin popping for steroids. And put it this way, you think the beef is squashed? Do you think things are put behind Conor McGregor? No, this guy McGregor has went full tilt in nothing. And I mean, and I mean, nothing is out of bounds when it comes to Conor McGregor. We're going to get into the article in just a little minute. When I was reading the article, I was thinking, is this clickbait? As I'm reading clickbait here. And then it was direct quotes from his Twitter. Now, we know what Conor McGregor's like. He tweets and then he deletes. I don't know why he does that. I think it's the add to the mysteriousness around, himself and try to keep traction towards himself. Like it was that bad, I have to delete it so everybody sort of tunes in, to see his next tweet or whatnot. It's probably a good tactic. But regardless, man, what I read in that article, he went after Khabib's dad. Well, he didn't go after Khabib's dad, but he used Khabib's dad, Khabib's late father. He brought up the whole Muslim thing again. He weighed in on, obviously, the cheating. And now, Usman has came forward here and said, look, that he's not, that's Khabib's cousin, by the way. Usman NURMAGOMEDOV has came out and said, look, he didn't cheat, and this whole thing's going to be wrapped up. There was a win or something like that. He won in Bellator. I think he's like the lightweight champion in Bellator. I'm not going to lie to you. I can't really keep up to date with all the other promotions. I try to, but it's hard because there's so much, so much going on just in the UFC alone. But he's saying that it's going to, he's going to wrap this whole thing up. He's going to show everybody that he's not a cheat. But Conor McGregor has took this as an opportunity to absolutely nuke the NURMAGOMEDOV family. Now, I mean, he really goes in hard. First off, guys, I'm going to keep, I have to say this to you, is right. I'm going to keep my true crime stuff. I'm going to keep it on this channel for now on. I was going to make another channel from a true crime. And basically, my true crime is I have a serial killer expert, Shawn Warner. For the past couple of weeks, I was thinking to myself, I was going to move this to another channel. I am. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it here from now. And then I'm going to move it to the other channel after maybe a year or two. So I'm still going to do my lives every Thursday with serial killer expert Shawn Warner. We're talking about Fritz Honks, I believe you call this guy. Only learned about this guy today. This is going to be the live that we're doing. He's the German serial killer. I'm going to leave the link for that in the description. So if you're into that sort of true crime stuff from an expert like Shawn Warner who speaks to serial killers, he literally profiles them and speaks to them. I'll leave the link for that live in the description. Head over now, like that video, set your reminders, and tune in this Thursday, 9 p.m. to hear about this crazy German serial killer, Fritz, I believe his name is. And guys, I mean, it's absolute, the wealth of knowledge coming from Shawn Warner when it comes to this. Like he spoke to BTK. He's got letters from BTK. He's got letters from multiple different serial killers. He speaks to a serial killer every night at 10. And once this guy dies in prison, all this stuff is going to be sent to Shawn, and he comes onto my channel and he speaks about all this. So like if you're into that type of content and you're into the true crime stuff, click the link in the description, head over now, set your reminders, and like, guys. And yeah, do me a mad favor here. All you have to do, I don't want your money, I don't want anything like that. Just like the video and subscribe and hit that notification bell. That's all I want from you. So yeah, I do have another channel for that. I'll actually leave the link for the other channel in the description. It isn't set up just yet. But I'm going to, after time, once I build up an audience just for the true crime stuff, then I'll move it fully over to that other channel. But right now, it wouldn't be the correct move to make. So yeah, if you're into that, that's all in the description. So let's get into the Conor McGregor stuff and let's find out what this guy is saying. Conor McGregor makes shocking comment about Khabib Nurmagomedov's late father after UFC rival's cousin fails drug test. Like, this guy's just going to weigh in anytime any of the family member of the Nurmagomedovs pops or does something stupid. McGregor's going to see this as an opportunity here. You know, he's never got over that loss. McGregor didn't do too bad in the Khabib fight. He got annihilated, but regardless, I think he was the only guy to take a round off Khabib. Conor McGregor has reignited his rivalry with Khabib Nurmagomedov after a member of the Russian's family recently received a doping ban. On Saturday, Bellator lightweight champion Usman Nurmagomedov had his unanimous decision win over Brent Primus overturned to a no contest following a failed drug test. There's McGregor there. He's one to speak. You know, that chin's grown. Some might say there's a bit of HGH thrown in there. The California State Athletic Commission issued the undefeated fighter with a 6-month ban and $50,000 fine because he tested positive for an undisclosed banned substance just days before his Bellator 300 main event on October 6th. Now, I really need you to understand this. A banned substance doesn't actually mean PEDs. Now, you know what I think? I think that they're all on it. You know that. I get that. Usman's definitely juicing. McGregor's juicing. Jones is juicing. They're all picoed out of their head, right? But there's a difference between popping for a performance-enhancing drug and a banned substance. A banned substance is also a performance-enhancing drug, but there's really silly things that you can pop for in the UFC. Like there's certain painkillers that you're not allowed to take. You'll pop for that, then that's also a banned substance. So you could have popped for something like, I think even like anti-inflammatories are banned. I'm not 100% sure on that. So, you know, bear that in mind. It mightn't actually be a performance-enhancing drug that he's popped for, even though they're all on it. Like, you know, but you just need to know this. Most of these guys are working with trainers and coaches and nutritionists and health professionals that know how to time their cycles, even take things that can mask the performance-enhancing drugs. You just need to know that. The game is 100 steps ahead of the anti-doping game. The doping game is 100 steps ahead of the anti-doping game. Trust me in that. So he's probably popped for like Nurofen or like some anti-inflammatory. I am not a bit surprised upon hearing another of the Nurmagomedov team testing positive for steroids. Hypocrites of the highest order, McGregor tweeted in response to Usman's drug test results. Notorious went a step further in a follow-up post as he brought up Nurmagomedov's, who is a devout Muslim, faith and made out of lying comments about his father. He added, steroids are haram. He's actually correct about that, though. If you look at some of the way steroids are made, for instance, hypothetically speaking, just say Usman did pop for actual PEDs and it wasn't like an anti-inflammatory, then if you look what goes into some steroids and how they're made, that would come under haram, and under the Muslim faith, you would see that as a bit hypocritical. But yeah, you know, he's doing his homework on, you know, the Islamic faith, McGregor, because he knows that that's the only way to get a Khabib. Like, Khabib trains and prays. That's what he does. The shame of Allah hangs over the Nurmagomedov clan. Cheaters. Abdul, I think that's how you say his father's name, Abdul Manap, is doing tumbles in his grave. Now, that is deep. Like, that is deep. That's like, you know, you have to understand where Khabib comes from. That's like going to somebody, a Christian in the 1700s, your father's rolling about in the grave. That's how, you know, they would take it thick back then. We probably wouldn't take it thick now, but that's the level of where Islam is at. It's like, I don't mean that in a nasty way, but they're very, very sensitive the way Christians were in like the 1700s. So for him to say that now, he knows exactly what he's doing. He's digging and he's hoping to get a rise out of Khabib 100%. I always said that press conference with Khabib and Conor McGregor, McGregor looked like the Joker and Khabib looked like Batman. Literally, you had McGregor dressed in like a purple suit, drunk out of his mind, laughing, offering Khabib alcohol, even though he knows Khabib's not going to drink it because Muslims don't, devout Muslims don't drink alcohol. And Khabib's just sitting there, like, just, not even looking at him, thinking this guy's a clown. And that's what it was, Batman against the Joker. The 29-0 retired UFC star is yet to comment on his cousin's failing a drug test or that face McGregor has attempted to use it as a stick to beat his family with, and he has. However, Usman recently took to social media to insist he's not a drug cheat and attempt to explain away his failed test as a lapse in judgment. I want to know something though, right? I want to know something. So, McGregor said a lot of stuff there that he's looking to get a rise out of Khabib 100%. But I want to talk about something here, right? So, what is Bellator's testing like? I'm sure Bellator doesn't care if their fighters are juicing. For him to get popped, I have to actually look into that. Who actually is the testing company for Bellator? I'm sure it's not USADA. I'm sure it's not one of them. I'm sure it's somebody else. But I don't think. I'm getting my information from the UFC, because in the UFC there was a whole list of banned substances that weren't PEDs, that if you popped for these, you were getting thrown under the bus. There was painkillers and anti-inflammatories and all different things that you couldn't take that was silly. Like there was certain pre-workouts that you couldn't take because it had a substance in it that if you had in your system, you were going to get banned from the UFC. What's Bellator's like? I'm sure Bellator really doesn't care. So for him, I suppose to counter what I'm saying, if Bellator has a testing system that isn't as advanced as, say, USADA, who's just came from the UFC, just left the UFC, then what you're possibly dealing with is a possible PED. But once again, I would need to see the list of banned substances that they're not allowed to take. So if I was Usman, I would name the substance that I popped for, so then people could go do the research. People like me that could possibly completely exonerate him and say, look, this guy didn't pop for a PED. He popped for like ibuprofen, and explain it a little bit better. I don't know if he's going to do that or not. But that aside, who gives a flying fuck about that? I'm sure you don't. What I care about is the fact that McGregor has weaponized Islam against Khabib, the devout Muslim, to sort of take a pop at the NURMAGOMEDOV clan to reignite this hatred. I'm just going to say this, right? I know McGregor's not going to stop. I know a lot of people that are like McGregor in Ireland. These guys are going to meet each other. Even if they're retired, you're going to see it. There's going to be like an MMA gathering. McGregor's going to be there. He's going to be pissed out of his mind. Khabib's going to be there with a few boys. McGregor's going to be there with his boys, and there's going to be an all-out war somewhere. And this is going to be big headlines. I could actually see somebody getting stabbed up here. If you know how Islam rules, especially those devout Muslims, man, there's no going back for what McGregor has said there, especially about Khabib's dad. Do you know what I mean? But he is right about the haram thing, because if he did take PEDs, that is 100% haram. 100%. No tattoos, no alcohol, no steroids. The body is a temple, no smoking, none of that. Do you know what I mean? So he's correct about that, but he has weaponized it against them. That's what I have for you guys. It's a late one tonight. Remember, smash the like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell. That's the only tool you have to pay for this channel, is liking, subscribing, and hitting the notification bell. As I say, I'm keeping the true crime stuff on this channel for now. If you want to tune into my Serial Killer Lives, the ones that I do every Thursday at 9 p.m. with serial killer expert Shawn Warner, who speaks to an array of different serial killers. Some of them are dead now, and some of them are in prison. He doesn't speak to any active ones, but he speaks to the ones that are in prison. He profiles them. Any information that he gets all gets sent to the police. And we do have one. We're doing one about Fritz Honks. This Thursday, he's a bit of an unknown serial killer, but maybe you want to know about these unknown ones, these brutal serial killers. They might only have like 4 victims, but some of these guys are worse than Bundy, honestly. This guy was from Germany. Sean's going to come on. He's going to explain the whole thing. It's called the Serial Killer Hour every Thursday, 9 p.m. The link is in the description. Set your reminder, smash the like buttons, share, tell a friend if they're into that type of content. And that's it, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. Peace.